I'm here with Alex, and we were talking, and she so graciously on the spot, and she said I could share this as an introvert, said yes, I could record her because what she was sharing was so valuable. And Alex, if you could share some of the insights that you've had since you and Kevin have been leading the singles ministry along with Jasmine, you had some insights you wanted to share.
Yeah, sure. I was mentioning to Jennifer that currently working with the singles ministry, as well as other roles that Kevin and I have had, working with family group, that those opportunities have really given me a deeper appreciation for the work that our leaders, those that are on staff here at the church really do, because it gives you just a little bit of a glimpse into just the role that they play in helping those of us in our congregation really, just kind of thrive in our relationship with God. And how also, I think one of the big things that I appreciate is that it can be tough and difficult, feeling the pressure of wanting everyone to be able to experience a vibrant and joyful relationship with God.
Some of you may be thinking, well, that's quite self-serving to have Alex share about the ministry staff, but some of you know I have served in the full-time ministry, and I have served in leadership while working full-time secularly, and I have served in both roles, so I can appreciate what Alex is saying from both the perspective of somebody in the full-time ministry, but also from the perspective of somebody who served in leadership while working a secular job. So I really appreciate that, Alex. And then we were also talking, you moved into sharing about the culture that you have, that you see within our sister churches, and you've been in 3 different of our cities of our sister churches, and
4,
we actually have 4. Okay, we have mutual friends in DC. Shout out to Sharon. But if you could share a little bit about the culture that you believe there is that maybe isn't always the healthiest.
Yeah, I distinctly remember early on as a Christian, and also when I got married, that my thought process was my life is going to be great, my marriage is going to be great because of God, because I'm a Christian. Particularly in my marriage, my husband and I, we both have the same standard and convictions. And so I think, maybe not, I probably wouldn't have admitted this, but I think in my heart, I thought that things were going to be easy.
Right.
Or that there was not going to be trouble. And I have had the opportunities the longer that I've been a Christian to realize that no, being a Christian does not exempt you from trouble. And our role as Christians, and I think also the role of our leaders, is to really help point us all back to Christ,
right.
Which should be the source for being able to resolve issues in our relationships with each other, with issues within our marriages,
right.
issues within our own personal walks with Christ. And I think sometimes there's the assumption that because we have such a tight-knit church community, that we sometimes look to each other to fix the issues that are going on in our lives, as opposed to using each other as resources to be pointed back to Christ. And the scripture that came to mind as we were talking was in Matthew 11, starting in verse 28. Jesus says here, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." And I think one of the things that really stands out to me here is that Jesus is inviting us to come to him for rest, come to him as a refuge for the heavy things in our lives. And I think we have to remember that, because sometimes it can be tempting to want to go to people because people are there and they're present and they can respond to us live on the spot. And while we should be using people as resources, they should be resources to direct us back to Christ. And really, a lot of times we have to continue to work through what the Word is calling us to, what is Jesus calling us to really be able to find the solutions for the things that are going on in our lives.
Such a great reminder, Alex. Yes, I think recently even there's been some situations with marriages and people want help, and not that we shouldn't support each other, but as you're saying, the scripture is saying, we need to point each other back to Christ, because there's no way to make denying yourself any easier, right? So thank you, Alex, for stepping out of your comfort zone, impromptu sharing with us. Have a great week, everyone.